Breaking news.
Breaking news, we have a fall in the unemployment rate, it would seem. It's just coming into us now. We had expected a rise in the jobs for the month of August, and instead we've seen a fall, and the unemployment rate goes down to 5.1% in concert with this. So this is just coming into us now. Breaking news, full-time employment, a build of 600, and we'll be looking for that part-time component, but a sizable decline in that unemployment rate. Expectations where it would go from the 5.2 current position in July, and that it would for August register at 5.3. Instead, it has gone down to 5.1%, and we have seen the loss of 8,800 jobs in the month versus a build, as expected by most economists, of as many as 5,000 positions. The dollar shooting up on this news. It had been below the 102 US cent handle. Now, currently, it spikes towards 102 US cents, goes up, as you can see on that chart, which does, of course, just take further bets off the table that there could be an imminent response from the Reserve Bank. What do our panel of experts think in the immediate blush of that? Simon Boulton from Aequalis, Cameron Hudson from Charter McLeod. Welcome to you both. You both came in and said to me it's definitely going up. I mean, instant reaction.
A surprise. Once again, employment figures trick us out. You know, we've often sat here and said it's going to do this, and it's done the opposite. It's just a short-term measurement that, again, we've seen do something unexpected. So.
Well, Cameron, the participation rate just catches my eye. That falls to 65. The expectation was it would go print at 65 and a quarter. It seems as if we're splitting hairs, but how important is that? And hours worked on aggregate falling by 5.7 million. Is that a concern on either score?
Not in terms of the statistical analysis. I mean, I think participation reflects a fairly constant measure. Hours worked is probably a concern being down, which reflects the patchwork economy, different sectors with different exposures and different competitive pressures. Yeah.
There's been a fall in part-time employment by 9,300, while full-time numbers have gone down, or have gone up by 600. Now, can you take any comfort from that? I mean, surely be taking comfort that it's fallen to 5.1, but more of a base building in the full-time component. Does that suggest more confidence more broadly?
I think it does. It does show that there is confidence there. It does show that Aussie corporates are able to and have capacity to hire more permanent people. Permanent hiring is an indication of longer-term confidence. The shorter-term contract is the hedge your bets, are we, aren't we, you know, short-term decision-making. So, again, that's another paradox in this conundrum that is the employment figures.
And it is a conundrum, Cameron, because for the last 12 months, as everyone would agree, there's been this narrow band on unemployment, and it's not shown any willingness to break out of it, either to the downside or the upside. How do you account for that?
I think, Carson, the underlying challenge in the economy continues to be where's the workforce going to come from. We're talking about composition and mix between perm and contracting, and we continue to be still short. So what the numbers tell us is the underlying performance economy is still quite robust.
And yet that significant 9,300 loss of part-time roles, they clearly haven't all been converted into full-time positions. So what's happened? Where have those people gone?
Where they've gone, these people will move traditionally to another contract role, and that tends to be where these contractors end up.
So they fall off in 1 month, do they, and then they just become sort of aliens for a month until they get back?
And then re-engage.
Right.
Well, there is that, certainly, because, again, going back to that flexible arrangement with your workforce, it's an easy way to make a short-term difference to your costs on the profit line. So it's, I think that some of those as well, we're seeing part-time and contract converted into permanent as well.
And what specific sectors as well, Cameron? What's on fire that wasn't last month? Are you seeing really kind of moving out of one sector into another in terms of what's hot in any one?
No, we're not. I mean, what I can tell you from our experience is I can name all the sectors that you and I can name, Carsten, that are slowing or lacking business confidence and being cautious. I couldn't point to those that are on fire, to use your language.
Even when it comes to that old fallback of, well, the West's doing nicely, and so therefore the contract miners and the engineers.
The West is definitely doing well, but the Australian workforce in mining and energy is still only 3% of the Australian workforce, so it's a very small component of the total numbers we're talking about.
Yeah. Just walk me through, again, what that participation level does to the unemployment rate. How can we see such a shift back from current levels to where we are finding ourselves today, where does it really kind of turn on? What does it turn on?
Well, it's doing more with less. I think it's all related to how much it costs to do stuff. And that's where the productivity argument comes, where there is a productivity challenge that we face, and that's only compounded by there being this skill shortage as well.
Except the hours worked almost gives the lie to that, because if we're working fewer hours, even though we're managing to lose that significant part-time component, how are we doing it smarter?
Well, I think, picking up on Simon's point, it's all about productivity and efficiency, and I think employer organisations are looking to drive that conversation regardless of their economic circumstance. If you look at the announcements in the media in the last couple of days around the mining sector, they're all now looking for greater productivity and efficiency from their workforces. What
is the best place to be right now in terms of geographically? Where is it? Simon?
Pilbara in a really big truck.
Right. And that's about as good as it gets?
I would think so, apart from being in the Pilbara.
OK. Apart from that, what about on the East Coast?
Sectorally, I'd agree. There isn't really an area that's storming. Everyone's in this holding pattern to a degree. We're seeing organisations that are more recession or downturn tolerant. Insurance, healthcare, they're two parts of our client base that are still relatively robust.
What about in the name of efficiency and productivity, Cameron? Departments being excised. No more.
Yes.
We can outsource. We don't even need you.
Yes.
When are we going to see that happen en masse, or are we not?
I don't anticipate there's going to be a big shift in that regard, Carson.
Or are we just not hearing about it?
In my experience in our organisation, we're not hearing about it on the scale that you may be inferring.
So what happens to those people who are getting made redundant? Because anecdotally you hear about it. 30 people going.
Yes,
just,
the numbers tell us they're finding alternate employment. The numbers tell us they're getting new skills and re-entering the workforce, because at the unemployment rate of 5.1%, we're still in a very skills-constrained
finance.
market.
Well, you've got to remember that the unemployment figures don't measure how many people have resigned necessarily or out of work, because it's measuring the number of people that are actually claiming on the back of being unemployed. So I think that's another conundrum in the... there are so many mixed messages here. It's really difficult to pick, Carson.
What about the conundrum in the job ads series from ANZ? It's a lead indicator. 5 straight months of declines. What does that do to today's statistics? Does it kind of just throw anything up in the air and catch one bit of paper? Oh, that looks like a good one. Oh, that one doesn't. Bye-bye. I mean, tell me what it means. What does that mean? 5 straight months of declines for ANZ, that suggests what?
Well, it suggests that people are making these short-term decisions. It comes back to that. Are you talking about ANZ?
Job ad series. It's meant to be a lead indicator, and yet we've seen 5 months of declines, and yet we're seeing here today an unemployment rate go down.
Well, we always say on this show, Carson, don't we? The unemployment figure, the advert figures are based on adding up the number of adverts that are published. Lots of jobs aren't advertised. Some jobs are advertised twice, 3 times. So there's lots of different intricacies in those ANZ numbers, which it makes it very difficult to be very accurate.
You always come on and shed great light. Thank you both. Simon Boulton from Aequalis, Cameron as well to you. Cameron Judson from Charlie McLeod. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's whisk you across town, indeed.